So today we are going to be talking about branding and specifically how to create a brand style guide for your business. So before we dive into that, let's just talk quickly about what branding is. It's probably a term that you're familiar with. Maybe you've got a pretty clear idea of what it is, but just in case, branding is more than just your logo. So branding is, I suppose, the process of creating a perception of your business, or you could even brand a person. People talk about personal branding. And so the idea is that you use consistent messaging and consistent kind of visual presentation to create that specific perception that will make your brand stand out from other businesses in whatever industry you're in. A really good example of this is with water, bottled water. So think about how many different brands of bottled water you've seen on supermarket shelves. It's all the exact same product, but there's varying price points, varying styles of packages, and they're all separated by their branding. They all generate a different feeling in the customer when they look at these brands. So that's I guess a quick example of what branding can be. And so brand style guide is a tool that can help you achieve consistency in your branding. So it's a way for you to kind of manage the key visual assets, mostly visual, but there's some non-visual things in there as well. The key visual assets for your business's brand, and make sure that you apply them consistently to everywhere that your business appears, and you will interact with other businesses and your customers. So that could be your website, your social media channels, your shop front, or your office, any physical assets you have like business cards, an email signature, the list goes on. Your branding should be applied everywhere your business exists, basically. And so the style guide will help you to ensure that you're applying it consistently, and it will also be useful for delegating tasks, whether that's to a staff member, to ensure that they know how they're meant to be using your colours, your logos, and your typography. But also if you're going to bring on board a designer for a specific task, maybe you need, you've got an ad campaign being launched and you need some visual assets created for that. So if you were to give a graphic designer, your style guide, they immediately know or have a good sense of how your brand should be applied. So brand style guides can be as simple or as complicated as you want them to be. What we're going to be looking at today is just a really simple one-pager style guide, which will include some keywords for your business to kind of guide your visual direction, some logo variations, so your core logo, and a few other variations on that you can apply in different settings whenever you need to. A colour palette, your typography, and some graphic elements. But if you wanted to go a little bit further, you could also add in a few extra elements into there, such as maybe your business mission, your values, the target market that you're trying to attract. So you could do a customer profile perhaps and add that into your style guide so that you've kind of got that awareness of who you're trying to communicate with whenever you're designing. Image treatment, perhaps most of your photos are going to be slightly washed out, so they have a bit of a retro feel, or whatever the case may be. And then tone of voice. This one's actually probably fairly important to consider. It's just the way that you speak, the way that you speak verbally. So maybe the way you communicate with your customers is very professional. Or maybe it's very, very casual. You speak to them more like a friend than a customer. And this applies to your writing as well. So maybe your social media is written very professionally, or maybe there's a lot of slang, there's a lot of jargon. That's kind of your tone of voice. So we've jumped into Canva here, and I'm just presenting the example style guide that we've created for you to have a go at editing for yourself. So this is an example that we've come up with for Fred's Fruits, which is a business that we have invented. And here we can see it's just all in one page. It's not overly complicated. We've got those key elements that we were talking about before. So we've got the logo variations, the color palette, typography, graphic elements, and of course these keywords up here. So I'll start by talking about the keywords, which are basically some words that can help keep you on track and ensure that the messaging of your brand is consistent and is in line with the way that you want to be perceived. Think about your brand's mission, the purpose, the people you're trying to serve, the kind of feeling that you want people to have when they think about your business. So Fred's Fruits, as you can see, is kind of fun. They're using these kind of organic shapes. They've got organic produce. So they want to be perceived as really fresh. Obviously, they're a fruit company, so they want to reinforce that idea that their fruit is fresher than everyone else's fruit. Authentic, they want to come across as really genuine and purposeful and playful. So they're a bit of fun. They're really approachable. You can have a laugh with Fred. That's the kind of feeling that they want their customers to have when they think about Fred's Fruits and when they look at their website and look at their business. So with that in mind, we can come across and have a look at some of the assets that we've got here. So we've got a few different versions of Fred's Fruits logo. We've got this one here, which is the most comprehensive logo, I suppose. It's got a little tagline in it. It's got multiple colors going on. It's a busier version. It's probably the one that they're going to use maybe printed onto the glass in their storefront or on the top of an invoice or on their website. And then we've got a couple of different versions which might be used for different purposes. So there might be on the box of fruit that gets delivered, maybe that one appears, or this one is maybe going to be overlaid on top of a photo or something like that. And this one is more of an icon style, so you might use it as the favicon, this little icon that just appears at on your browser tab when someone has your website open, or maybe it's going to appear on their social media profiles. So it's good to have a few different versions so that you can be flexible in how you apply your logo. Their color palette is quite simple. So we've got some colors that clearly contrast well enough for you to be able to read text and things when they're overlaid on top of each other, which we can see over here on the left in the logo variations. They've also got black and white here. I've come up with some fun names for their colors. That's not something that you have to do, but can be fun to do and can kind of help reinforce that kind of brand feeling that we're going for. And we've got the hex code here so that if we ever need to find these colors in a different program, such as maybe your website editor, we can really quickly and easily pull up our brand style guide and go, okay, I know that the green that I want uses this hex code, and so I can apply that on my website. Typography. We've got 3 different types of text here. We've only got 2 families. So we've got this font here, Bantayog Regular, which they are going to use for their headings, and it's always going to be written in all caps. So I've got a little bit of direction there, letting us know that whenever we're going to write a heading, we're going to use this font and we're going to write it in all caps. They've just got some sample text there so we can see what it looks like. Then for subheadings, we're going to use Joseph and Sands in bold. And we've got some more sample text. And then for the body, we're going to use Joseph and Sands in regular. So it's good to try to limit yourself to having only 2, maybe 3 different font styles. The simpler, the easier it is to apply. So if you start getting 4, 5, 6 different types of fonts in there, it can be very difficult to know when and where that you're going to use them. So yeah, keep it simple is the way to go. And then graphic elements. So these can be used for decorative purposes. So maybe the fruits along the bottom you'd use for decorative purposes, or they can be used to kind of really quickly communicate something to a customer. So that basket Fred's Fruits might have on their website as part of their shopping icon. The love heart might be a save. The newspaper might be for their blog articles, so on and so forth. And what we're going for here is a kind of organic shaped, almost hand-drawn kind of feeling with these images that, is a little bit playful and authentic, and nice vibrant colours to get that freshness across. And even though these aren't all drawn by the same artist, they all kind of look like they're in the same family. So That's the purpose of having some example elements here in this section so that you kind of know the style that you're going for whenever you do need to use an icon or if you need to use an illustration or anything in any of your designs. So we have this page here, which is a blank canvas for you to use. And there's some instructions as well on how you can access the style guide just in the blog post that's associated with this video. So have a go at setting this up for yourself. You don't have to have all three if you don't want to of the type styles. You don't have to have this many colors. You don't have to have this many logo variations. It's all completely customizable. But just, remembering that you want to keep it consistent and easy to interpret if you were to hand this over to a designer or any staff member to apply for future designs. I hope that's helpful. Let us know how you go, and I'll see you next time.